What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to show you how I learned to master every interview by sharing my approach to the Tell Me About Yourself interview question. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sahil, and I'm a UCLA graduate and board member, former management consultant, and currently work at Netflix as a marketing strategist here in LA. On this channel, I help young professionals like you become 10x performers at work by exploring recruiting strategies, on-the-job soft skills, and other professional development concepts that'll really help you perform your best. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably had your fair share of recruiting frustrations on your way to finding a great role for yourself. I remember sending out dozens of applications, constantly getting rejected, and finally getting my dream interview only to blow it because I was so nervous and unprepared. A while ago, when I was reviewing all of my interview notes, I noticed that there was one question recruiters always asked without fail. Tell me about yourself. I also realized that a good answer to the Tell Me About Yourself interview question should answer many other questions in the rest of the interview. Let's start by unpacking the 3 hidden sub-questions inside the Tell Me About Yourself interview question. Number 1, tell me about your career story and your work experiences. Number 2, why are you uniquely qualified for this role? And number 3, why do you want to work for my company and this specific role? So a great answer to the Tell Me About Yourself interview question should really answer all the above questions. So let's tackle each one of these individually, and for the sake of demonstration, we're going to use my own career experience and pretend like we're interviewing for a role at Netflix. The goal of this sub-question is to tell a story about your past experiences. So you really want to think about how do you connect the dots looking backwards and really form a narrative about how you move from one experience to the next. You'll want to begin in reverse chronological order, starting off with your oldest work experience up until your most recent. Now, you don't want to talk about how you were a wee lad in school trading Pokemon cards at recess, so definitely don't go all the way back. But if you're in your 20s, you can start off with where you went to college and then get into your first job. And if you're in your 30s, you can go straight into where you began your career. You can think of it like a product value proposition and how you'll summarize your entire career journey in one sentence that defines who you are at work. And you'll want to make sure that this career thread roughly matches what they're looking for in the job description. So for example, I'd start off my answer by saying, so in my career, I found that I really love combining deep analytics with market research to help executives make strategic decisions. That is a common narrative that I'll use to weave through my different work experiences. You can follow a simple 3-step approach. Number 1, what initially attracted you to the company and the role? Number 2, what did you actually do during your time there? And we'll cover this in the next sub-question. And number 3, what made you leave that role and look for something new? So let's go through an example of the above using my own career experience. I'd start off my answer by saying, so in my career, I found that I really love combining data analytics with market research to help executives make important strategic decisions. During my time at LEK, I worked on growth, M&A, and go-to-market strategy, primarily for clients in the retail and entertainment industries. After 35 client engagements across 4 years, I really wanted to pursue a career in entertainment, which is my favorite sector to cover as a consultant, so I went over to Discovery Channel. At Discovery, I served as a product and go-to-market strategist, helping our channel executives think through the shift from cable TV to streaming services. So hopefully you can see how that's sort of the scaffolding and the outline for how I would answer my question, but let's get into the details of how we would talk about our work experience, and that's sub-question number 2. The goal of sub-question number 2 is to talk about the skills that you have that qualify you for the role that you're interviewing for. And in actuality, you're going to answer this question while you go through sub-question number 1. So let me explain. While you're going through each and every one of your experiences, you're going to talk about what were the responsibilities that you had, what are some of the projects that you worked on, or the problems that you helped solve, and what were the skills and tools that you used to accomplish those tasks. For bonus points, you can also talk about the actual impact you had in your role. So saying things like, I helped increase sales by X% or decrease costs by Y%, whatever you can do to help quantify the impact. The goal for this sub-question is to communicate how uniquely qualified you are for the role given your past experiences. So you want to make sure that you actually look at the job description for the role that you're interviewing for and make sure that the way you talk about your past experiences loosely maps into what they're looking for in terms of qualifications. So basically, if we go back to sub-question number 1, when I'm walking through my experiences, I would talk about the skill sets that really make me qualified for this theoretical role at Netflix. So going to my time in consulting, I'd talk about how I learned data analytics, how I learned to present in front of C-suite executives, and really help solve complex problems by breaking them down in a very structured way. And then at Discovery Channel, I would talk about how I was a product strategist and help people think through new product ideas by putting together marketing plans, content strategy plans, and figuring out ways to delight consumers by working with our product and engineering teams. So the goal of this last sub-question is to actually preempt the interviewer's question of why do you want to work for this company and why this specific role. To answer this sub-question really well and to know that you've done it, you'll want to end your entire Tell Me About Yourself interview question with the phrase, "and that's why I'm here today." That'll really force you to tie everything from your past together into the current moment. And the present moment, of course, is the interview that you're in. So you're going to want to talk about what attracted you about the company and the role specifically. So after talking about your recent work experience from sub-questions 1 and 2, let's explore how to talk about your interest in the company and the role. You can follow this outline to answer the sub-question. Number 1, what are you looking for in your next role? Number 2, what about the role that you just applied to is appealing to you? And number 3, why do you want to work for this specific company? The key to answering this question is to be super specific. So you're going to want to avoid sounding super generic, like, I want to interview at this company because it's great and the role is awesome and it's fast-paced and blah, blah, blah. Like, anyone who talks like that, it just screams generic and it's not going to resonate with the interviewer. The key is to be super specific and avoid adjectives. So here's an example I would give if I was interviewing for that role at Netflix. After 2 years at Discovery, I really find myself wanting to dive deeper into the streaming world. And given Netflix's position, where it's at in terms of global expansion, its work culture of freedom and responsibility, which really aligns with my style of working, those are some of the traits that really attract me to the company. And for the role specifically, you're looking for a go-to-market strategist, and that aligns well with what I did at Discovery and the foundational skill sets I had at LEK. All right, now let's bring everything together using all 3 of the sub-questions we just walked through into a cohesive interview answer. I'm going to go through it using my own experience. So in my career to date, I found that I love combining deep analytics with market research to help executives make strategic decisions. I first got a taste of this when I started my career in management consulting to learn how to analyze businesses and solve complex problems. At LEK, I worked on go-to-market, growth, and M&A strategy for companies in the retail and entertainment space. After 35 engagements across 4 years, it was finally time for me to commit to a sector, and entertainment was by far my favorite. So I decided to join Discovery Channel. At Discovery Channel, I was a product and go-to-market strategist for our company's channel executives, helping them think through the pivot from cable TV to the streaming world. This is a really cross-functional role, as I was working closely with our content, product, and marketing teams to come up with new products and services that our customers would love around the world. I also served on the executive M&A transition team when the company made its $15 billion acquisition of Scripps Networks. After almost 2 years at Discovery, I find myself wanting to dive even deeper into the streaming world, and that's why I'm interviewing here at Netflix today. I find that the company's positioning in terms of its global expansion, its culture in terms of freedom and responsibility, and specifically the role around go-to-market strategy and data and analytics really aligns with my past experience both at LEK and at Discovery. So yeah, that's why I'm here today. So that's what a stellar tell me about yourself interview question sounds like. As you can see, there's a lot involved, but if you do it thoroughly and you do it correctly, you're going to preemptively answer a lot of the follow-up questions an interviewer might have. One other note, your interview for this question, as well as any other question that you answer during an interview, should be under 2 minutes long. The reason why is because anything over 2 minutes starts to get a little bit rambly, and anything under 30 seconds isn't enough detail to provide context to answer the question thoroughly. So your job in this question is just to provide a teaser of your entire career arc and let the interviewer probe further for more detail. So as an action item, I encourage you to workshop your own answer to the tell me about yourself interview question by using the 3 sub-question framework we went through today. You can just pull up a Google Doc and have the 3 sub-questions and fill in the bullet points so that you have your own answer using your career experience. Then you can record yourself after preparing your answer, and you're going to be astonished at how much more polished, presentable, and confident you seem by having a stellar answer to the tell me about yourself interview question. And I promise you, this amazing first impression that you make will carry on through the rest of the interview. So thanks for watching and hanging out. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.